Hello everybody, I'm No02, and thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it. I appreciate you for all your kindness and support. Now, if you watched my little ramblings on the weapons, right, there's going to be some repeated information here. We don't want to get too fixated on the little details of the guns, right? Oh, the M4 does 10 damage versus the 14 of the AK. M4 is so ammo hungry, it's bad. We want to look at it at the big picture, right? The principles of what's really happening here as far as what our guns and accessories say about you. You show me your accessories, I'll show you your friends or something, right? You know that saying. There's 3 types of enemies. We're really only going to be focusing on 2, mutations and the horde. Those are the 2 general threats that you're going to be constantly fighting in Back 4 Blood. And when it comes to guns, certain guns deal with those problems better than others. For instance, right, if we got this M4, day, which everyone is like, oh man, M4 is so ammo hungry. They're not wrong. They're not wrong. M4 is a great gun to deal with the horde. Shoots fast and does enough damage to kill zombies. To kill mutations, though, you need DPS, right? You need damage per bullet and rate of fire. And the M4 doesn't really have that damage per bullet that we're looking for. So when it comes to dealing with the mutations, M4 is not the best choice. A sniper rifle is better for that, right? And so we can just sort of already see how we can classify what the weapons do, right? People get fixated on what's the best AR and what's the best sniper rifle. Well, what's the best SMG? Really, you should be asking yourself, what do I need to kill? Right? Look at your teammates. What are they running? If all 4 of you are running a sniper rifle, then picking up a vanilla M4
what do you know?
that has no attachments on it, right? It might be the right thing to do. Sometimes, given on the circumstance, you just need to get your team composition as prepared as possible to kill either the mutations or the horde, and you can recognize what you're weak against or strong against and compensate or change and make decisions, right? So don't get worried about the details. Just think in terms of what gun do I need to sort of round out our team's needs, basically, right? And the throwables are no different. The grenade and the flashbang do the same thing, in principle. Molotov and the pipe bomb do the same thing in principle. So now if we're in a team scenario, we have friends, we are communicating what our decks are going to be and working together and compiling 4 characters that all do different things so that we have a nice, healthy, balanced team. Like a breakfast. It's okay for one player to double down on something, right? Maybe I'm running an M4. I'm good at killing the horde. I'm the guy. It's my job to kill the horde. Maybe I double down and I take a pipe bomb. Right? When a mutation shows up, I'm not going to be the best suited to deal with it in that given scenario. HR. Right? But that's where the team comes into play, right? That's why we have a team composition. Now, in a solo queue scenario, doubling down can be risky. We might have teammates in that our random teammates might be able to kill mutations. We might have a sniper player and someone doing a grenade build and things like that. The issue with doubling down in solo queue, though, is that if our teammates die, we're left with the tools that we have, and if a mutation shows up, we don't have the tools necessary to kill it.
You might need this.
Right, so in team compositions, being flexible or doubling down on something doesn't matter either way, it's going to be fine. In solo queue, probably want to be more flexible in your kit. And what I'm talking about really is just, we run a sniper rifle, which means I'm good at killing mutations with this gun. If I want to round out my build, maybe I have a pistol, maybe I have a Tech 9 to help me deal with the horde. Maybe I run pipe bombs to also help me deal with the horde. Things like that, right?
Gear here.
And so that is sort of like the foundation, the principle of what we're talking about here is how we should view our throwables. How we should view them.
Could come in handy.
In terms of what we want to accomplish with our loadout, right? Our guns, our accessories, and our deck equals our loadout. You just have to ask yourself, what do I want to kill? And maybe if you want to be flexible, You look at your deck and your guns, and you go, all right, with this deck, I'm gonna want some sort of gun that can deal with the horde, whether that's an AR or an SMG. Maybe you get more specific with the cards you choose. And then I'll run grenades, and that'll help me deal with mutation, things like that, right? That's the foundation, the umbrella that everything is underneath here. How are grenades and flashbangs exactly the same? Well,
let's do this then.
open area counters mutations. Hallways, confined spaces, right? And that, right, counters the horde, right? Positioning is super duper key. If the horde event happens, anywhere you can funnel zombies into counters zombies. So doorways, thresholds, etc., hallways, that counters zombies. Open space counters mutations. A tall boy can only chase one person at a time. So if we're running around, whoever has aggro is just running around, everyone else is shooting it. But when we're in our holdout spot, right, we're in our hallway, our collapsed room, the end of a whatever shipping container, etc. Imagine there was a wall here. Pretty common that most of the holdout spots in the game are basically going to be putting you in a box. And just by positioning, we're going to have a much easier time killing zombies. What if a tall boy shows up right there? We got 14 meters of time. He's going to do his little rawr, rawr, and then he's going to charge. We have 14 meters and his charge worth of seconds of time to kill him. And that's going to be very hard to do. Hence the grenade, right? Grenades counter mutations. Flashbangs counter mutations, because when a tall boy shows up and we're a confined space, we don't have the ability to maneuver in open area. We don't physically have the capability to counter the mutation with movement. That is where the grenade comes in. The flashbang does the same exact thing, right? Because whether or not the grenade kills the tall boy or not is usually not that important. Most of the time, the grenade will do enough damage so that your team can kill it before it ends up charging, right? It shows up, it does its roar, we're shooting at it, its roar ends, we throw a grenade, it's stumbled, and we get more time to keep shooting it, and the grenade does a significant chunk of damage to its health. Look, giving us enough time to kill it between our 12-14 meter space, right? The flashbang does the same thing. Tall boy shows up, it roars, we throw our flashbang, and now we have 6 seconds to kill it, right? We've bought ourselves more time. We turned our 14 or 13 meter seconds worth of time, which is like literally like a second. We've added 6 seconds to it with our flashbang. The grenade does something similar, right? So in the very same way, grenades and flashbangs counter mutations. They do the same thing, but slightly differently. So just keep that in mind, right? When you're building your composition, keep in mind if, oh man, my deck or my team, we're very weak to mutations, we don't really have the tools to do it.
It's your lucky day.
You should probably leave the safe room with grenades or flashbangs. Pipe bombs are user-friendly, right? No matter where we are, no matter what the circumstances are, if there's a horde chasing us or putting pressure on us, and we can't get to a good place to hold out at, or maybe we need to reload our LMG, or you know what, things are happening. Maybe a tall boy showed up and we flashbanged it. All 4 players are shooting at it now, but now the zombies are pushing on us. Whatever, right? You throw a pipe bomb. Almost no matter the circumstance, you throw a pipe bomb, and it's going to get you out of trouble. It's going to relieve the pressure that zombies cause. The Molotov does the same thing. If you set it and forget it, any zombie that runs through that is going to die. So if we had zombies coming this way, we can throw that and just ignore it. It's going to kill all the zombies that run through, except for armored zombies because they have a crap ton of health. Right? But the thing about the Molotov, though, is that it's circumstantial, right? You need a doorway, a hallway, a threshold, right? The weird thing about the Molotov, even though it does the same thing as the pipe bomb in theory, it works best in scenarios where we typically are already going to be strong versus zombies, right? We need a hallway, but that hallway is already the perfect place for us to shoot and kill zombies. So the Molotov is a little overkill, right? The situation in which the Molotov excels is already a situation in which we're going to be best suited to kill zombies with our guns anyways. But the Molotov's half the price, and of course, take into consideration cards like Pyro and maybe future cards. maybe something can work and things like that. If you saw my Hoffman Pyro deck, the Hope of the Future, little neat, just a neat little revelation that you can probably do and play with Molotovs and get some value out of it, have some fun. But the thing that I learned from, I've been playing a lot with Flashbangs and Molotovs that I want to talk about, is yeah, it's just the circumstance in which they excel in, right? It's hard. You need to look at the game and the world and the map differently when you're playing with Molotovs. You need to run around differently and think differently to get the most value out of them. And it's not always that easy to get maximum value out of the Molotovs. The Flashbang, interestingly enough, not that great for solo clutching. Not that great, right? Unless you have teammates with you who are healthy and fighting and shooting, when you flashbang that tall boy, you need to shoot him. Otherwise, 6 seconds later, he's ready to fight again, and if he's not dead, he's going to be charging you. So just two things to keep in mind. Molotov, a little hard to find the situation where it's perfect. You could, maybe there's two angles. We got this and this right here. We choose one, we molly it, and now we can focus over here. Whatever. The flashbang is only as strong as how many teammates you have left alive. If you're all by yourself in a horde event and you flashbang a tall boy, you need like an LMG or something to like shoot zombies and shoot the tall boy and have enough ammo to kill everything, and it just gets wonky and hard. But the principle of it all that we're talking about is just take into consideration what is good at what. Don't worry about the little details. The big picture is, do I want to be flexible with my build? Do I want to double down on something? Do I want to kill zombies? Mutations? A little bit of both? And you can sort of go back and forth and like, maybe I'll run a sniper rifle and then I'll run pipe bombs and that'll, whatever, right? You get the point. I've said it enough. You understand. Similar to the Molotov, the situation in which the barbed wire is most successful is already the situation in which we're good at killing zombies in the Horde. Not every place is nice and long and great as this blue container to kill zombies from. So the only scenario really in which the barbed wire ends up being really successful is when we're this tight hallway like this, and then a wretch, or not, and then an exploder shows up, or a reeker shows up, right? A stinger, a stalker, etc., right? Kind of nice to slow them down, gives you more than enough time to kill them because they don't have the biggest health pools and things like that. But it's pretty niche. It doesn't really, you don't really ever get. It's hard to get very good results, like consistent results from using barbed wire. So, and for $200, it just doesn't seem worth it. It's only good in some very particular scenarios. Same thing with the Firecrackers. Honestly, I would just buy a Molotov over a Firecracker. At least then it kills things, and if you get smart and good with Molotovs, then you can get the same results out of a pipe bomb, or out of a Molotov as you could a pipe bomb. One interesting thing you can do that's pretty niche with Firecrackers, in case you didn't know, in Left 4 Dead, there could only ever be 40 zombies on the map at a time. The game was just really, really good at spawning zombies instantly after they died. So there's only ever 40 zombies on the map at a time in Left 4 Dead, and Left 4 Dead 2. Back 4 Blood is no different. Now, I don't know if the number is 40. I don't know what the max number for zombies is in Nightmare mode. But it makes sense that this game can't support an infinite amount of mutations and zombies, right? The game would crash, performance would chug, and etc. This map is actually a great example of it, because once the ogre spawns and all the mutations spawn at the same time, the game sort of... With that being said then, the game can only support so many zombies, and the Firecrackers don't kill zombies. If we had 5, 6, 7, 8 Firecrackers and triggered Horde events, we could keep throwing Firecrackers, pulling all the Horde here, right? And then you throw another Firecracker when it ends, and then another Firecracker, and soon enough you'll have, 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 zombies pulled into one area. Because all of the zombies are now in one area, the entire map's worth of zombie resources is being spent somewhere, and you're controlling it with Firecrackers, and you're not killing them. The rest of your team could run through a map completely empty of zombies because they're all literally stuck somewhere else. Pretty niche thing, very expensive thing to do. Just something neat. So that's it for this video. Just to recap, the whole point that I'm trying to convey here or the whole point of what I'm doing with this video is just look at your guns and your throwables from the big picture. What does it counter, right? Because you might be walking by that M4 and you think, M4 sucks. I watched a video of somebody and he said the M4 is not ammo efficient, it sucks, does low damage per bullet. You shoot mutations, you run out of ammo. But it kills the horde really good. So if you pick up that M4, then you go, well, I have the M4, so now I need something to kill mutations, I'll get grenades. Ta-da! And now you're only using your M4 when you're shooting at the horde, and all of a sudden, it seems like you have way more ammo, or you're not running out of ammo because you're only using your gun in the situation that it excels in. You might take a sniper rifle and shoot zombies with it, you're going to run out of ammo eventually because you have a low ammo pool and you're shooting 50 zombies, that's half of your ammo pool. But if you're only shooting mutations with your sniper rifle, you can get pretty far in a map before you need to ask a teammate for a refill, right? Anyways, that's the point. Look at the big picture. In solo queue, you want to be flexible with your loadout. And team compositions, you can go either way, doesn't really matter. Just keep in mind, though, that if you double down on being good at killing only one type of enemy, if your allies die, you're not going to be in a as strong position to potentially solo clutch maps and things like that. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it, and well, I'll see you in the future.